Welcome back to The Ed Show. Some scary stuff going on around the country. There is a portion of our population that is pretty nervous, and they're coming out of hiding, I guess you could say, with guns in hand. Last year, the Department of Homeland Security warned that, quote, white supremacists and militias are more violent and thus more likely to conduct mass casualty attacks on the scale of the 1995 Oklahoma City bombing. There's a new report out that backs up this prediction. Joining me now is a man who wrote that report, Mark Potok of the Southern Poverty Law Center. Mark, good to have you with us tonight. Appreciate your time. If you had to roll back the clock, what would you compare this to, say, yesteryear, when, and what situation?
Well, what it really is a kind of rebirth of the militia season of the 1990s. You know, this is a very white-hot movement back in the middle 90s to the late 90s that produced a lot of domestic terrorism or attempted domestic terrorism. You know, I'd say the difference this time is that it has a much stronger racial element because, of course, at the end of the day, these groups see their primary enemy as being the federal government. And, of course, the federal government today, the face of that government is black. So there's a lot of feeling about that.
And when alcohol, tobacco, and firearms comes out and says, all it's going to take is a little spark, how are viewers supposed to take that tonight when they hear that?
Well, I think it's really an accurate assessment. I don't think that that is hyperbole. I think that, you know, there are a great many of these groups out there that have formed recently. Some of the older groups have been re-energized. There's a lot of evidence to suggest that people are collecting arms, creating arms catches, and so on. And now we have this huge amount of white-hot rhetoric, which stretches all the way from the bona fide militia and so-called patriot groups to the Michelle Bachmans of the world, to the protesters at the various town hall meetings and so on. You know, I think we're in a situation that really is very worrying.
You know, some of these postings that are on the internet, one of them in particular on YouTube, has had over 60,000 views. Let's listen to it out of the state of Ohio.
Hello, America. It's your wake-up call from the Ohio militia. If people need to wake up, start buying some of these, see? Ask yourself, why do you not have one of these? Go out, buy a gun, okay? They're not that expensive, okay? You can get a gun, buy lots and lots of ammo for these guns, okay?
Now, Mark, what's causing this? Is it a black president? Is it the Democrats having the White House, the House, and the Senate? Is it health care reform? What really is the steroid here that's making this happen with these groups?
Well, I think it's definitely each one of those things you mentioned. It's the bad economy, and it is, I think, probably ultimately, above all, the changing demographics in this country. You know, it is, you know, there's been heavy non-white immigration for the last 7 or 8 years, and we've seen a real vigilante movement, a nativist movement grow up around that. So, you know, one of the remarkable aspects of the militia movement today is how much it has kind of sucked in all of those people who used to be single-issue people worrying about border crossers and so on.
Mark Potok, appreciate your time tonight from the Southern Poverty Law Center. Thanks so much for your insight on this. For more, let's turn to our panel tonight. Founding editor of Huffington Post, Roy Sekoff, is with us. Also, CNBC Chief Washington correspondent and political writer for the New York Times, John Harwood, is here. And distinguished fellow of the Heritage Foundation and former Republican Congressman Ernest Istook is with us here tonight. Congressman, let me go to you first. How do you take this information when alcohol, tobacco, and firearms comes out and says that, you know, we're on a heightened alert pretty much for activities such as this? What do you make of it?
I don't think that's a correct statement from ATF, but I do know that we've always had instances of extremism both on the left and on the right. Homeland Security has warned about both. Remember the Unabomber He was on the fringes of the left. Remember the big protest of the left-wing anarchists, the thousands of them running wild in the streets in Seattle.
But what's
and
causing
remember all the threats against Bush's motorcade in Portland, Oregon, saying about the same kind of stuff as you're now condemning from the town hall protesters.
Okay, well, what do you think is causing this right now, Congressman?
I think you've always got people that are upset on the left or the right, and the people, whoever they see is in power, they'll see. You know, you'll have the people that are in opposition to them will come more to the surface. But they're both there on both sides all the time. That is not a reason to discount the justifiable concerns of the vast majority of the people that are turning out at town hall meetings.
John Harwood, what's White House reaction to this, if anything? And, of course, I would think that a two-part question. I would think that when the representatives and senators come back after all these town halls, they might have their eyes opened a little bit as to what's going on out there across America.
Well, I think so. And look, a lot of these elected officials are pretty experienced at dealing with extremists who, as the congressman said, have been out there for a while. And I do think, you know, a lot of us who are in the media industry, Ed, as you know, are giving a lot of attention to some of these people who are just idiots at these town halls saying stuff that doesn't make any sense. You know, the kind of people who are raising the specter of, you know, is this going to become Russia or communist China? It's just idiot stuff. I make a distinction between those garden variety morons and the people who actually belong in mental hospitals who are, you know, carrying guns and organizing militias. Unfortunately, I think that number is quite small.
Roy, you know, the internet obviously is the superhighway for all of these groups. It's easy for them to connect, communicate, organize, all of these things. But it is also, it seems to be the healthcare debate that has launched it to a new level, which I just find amazing. How many of these militia folks don't have health care or have health care? What's your take on it?
Well, exactly. You know, and what we're seeing here is it's a perfect storm, you know, coming together for the lunatic fringe. We have a half-black president with a Jewish chief of staff, and he nominated the first Latina Supreme Court justice. I mean, that's like the haters trifecta, right? Then you throw in the bad economy, and you throw in the fear that the guns are going to go away, and suddenly you have this ticking time bomb. So I think, though, you have to admit, though, that the Obama administration has played a little bit of a part in this, because their handling of the bank bailout and of the health care debate, I think, has thrown fuel on the fire. You know, there's a big portion out there who think that they buy into Reagan's perception that, remember, the government is the problem. And I think when you have a bank bailout, when the banks get trillions of dollars and the average guy is losing his job and he's going bankrupt, and when you have a health care debate, when you're giving big pharma, you know, a great deal behind doors, I think people start thinking the fix is in. And I think that helped raises the anger.
Well, on the other hand, what if the bank bailout kept us from going into a depression? That might make things a little worse.
I mean, it's the perception of fairness, I think, is the question, and it's the fact that it's behind closed doors and the lack of transparency. I think that's what fuels this conspiracy. And like John said, it doesn't help that we're giving all this airtime to the birther movement, which has now walked hand in hand with the deather movement.
Let me take an extra minute here, Congressman. What would be your advice to calm the fears of these groups that seem to be going over the edge with their internet rhetoric and some of the things that we've seen? I mean, what would you say to them?
Well, first
keep
of all,
going? Would you say keep going?
No, I would say to everybody, you know, people that have legitimate concerns, you need to listen to them rather than making accusations that may radicalize people more. I think Roy was making that point. I remember when I had a death threat when I was in Congress, someone that was actually prosecuted and sent to prison for threatening to kill and dismember me. What side was he on? He was upset because I would not support legalizing marijuana.
Okay.
So, you know, you have extremists all over the place.
And finally, John, would it be apropos for someone at a high position in government to address this undercurrent that's going on in America? Would it get to that level, you think?
Well, it depends. You know, you'd have to talk to people in the administration and ATF as to what they think would inflame the situation versus tamping it down. I do think, again, maybe I'm Pollyanna, and Mark certainly from the Southern Poverty Law Center knows a lot more than I do about it. I've got to think that those real extremists out there arming and militias and the kind of people who made that video you showed before is a pretty small number of people. And I don't know, coming out of the 2008 elections, it didn't quite feel to me like the country was tinderbox ready to explode.
It didn't. This is all within the last 6 months.